You ever look at a padlock and think, this thing's got more security clearance than half the Pentagon? Because let me tell you, that's how my Tuesday started. A padlock the size of a softball, shining like it just got buffed by a team of jewelers. Sitting right in the middle of my neighborhood park gate, blocking my path like the world's most passive-aggressive bouncer. It was 6:45 in the morning, for crying out loud. Most people aren't even fully awake then. They're either clinging to their last dream or debating if getting out of bed is even worth it. Me? I was just trying to let my dog, Buster, do his business, maybe grab a few minutes of peace before the workday chaos started. But no, not today. Buster, my golden retriever, is the picture of patient desperation, vibrating next to me, tail wagging so hard he might actually levitate. Eyes wide like, Dad, if you don't get this open, I swear I'm going to start digging a tunnel under the fence. So I reach for my special $50 replacement HOA key, a key I got just last month, by the way, after the old one mysteriously stopped working. I slide it in the lock, and nothing. Doesn't fit. Not even close. I jiggle. I twist. I do that little dance everyone does when they want the universe to give them a break. But the lock might as well have been welded shut. So I step back, let out a sigh that's half resignation and half, why do I pay $400 a month for this? And that's when I spot it. Hanging from the gate, zip-tied like some official government warning, is a brand new, aggressively yellow sign, practically screaming in Comic Sans. Notice: park closed for maintenance until further notice. HOA board. Maintenance, huh? Sure. I peer through the bars. The park looks perfect, grass cut to a regulation 2 inches, not a blade out of place, playground gleaming, paths swept clean. Not a worker in sight, not even a stray leaf. Maintenance, my ass. You too, huh? Comes a voice behind me, and I jump about a foot in the air. It's Dave from 3 houses down, trudging up in a bathrobe over sweatpants, dragging his pug, who looks like he's on life support, just breathing. Dave's the sort of guy who once lent me his pressure washer and never mentioned it again. So naturally, I respect the hell out of him. Morning, Dave, I say, waving my useless key like a white flag. You see this? Apparently, the grass is in critical condition. Dave scratches his belly, shrugs. Linda sent out an email at midnight. Said there's a liability issue. Probably caught some teenagers having fun and decided that was too much joy for one park. He leans in, voice dropping. She probably sleeps with her laminator. I'm starting to boil now, not just regular mad, but that particular brand of fury reserved for anyone who's ever tried to reason with a homeowners association. These are the same people who fined me for Christmas lights on December 1st and told me my truck was too commercial for my own driveway. Now the park's off limits because the grass needs to rest. I swear, these folks would lock up the air if they could. Dave holds up his own key. Doesn't work either. She changed all the locks. Guess we're doing laps on the sidewalk. I look up at the giant beige monstrosity at the end of the cul-de-sac, Linda's house. Perfectly manicured hedges, not a single weed. The kind of place that files noise complaints if you sneeze too loud. I squint, and, I kid you not, the curtains twitch. There's a silhouette, definitely a person, probably binoculars. She's up there, watching us. Of course she is. Don't look, Dave mutters, or she'll write you up for loitering with intent. Dave shuffles off, defeated, pug wheezing in sympathy. But I stay, glaring at the gate. This isn't about the park anymore. This is about principle. I paid for that grass. I paid for those swings. I'm not about to be locked out by someone who peaked as a middle school hall monitor. That's when I spot something. See, everyone's focused on the lock, but my eyes wander to the hinges, big decorative things, but on the outside of the gate, facing the street. My buddy, Pete, Sparky Pete, a contractor with the kind of stories that make you question the sanity of local building inspectors, once told me, if you can see the hinge, it's a door, not a wall. All it takes is asking nicely, with an angle grinder. I can't help but grin. The universe has just handed me the setup for the best loophole in HOA history. So I take Buster home, detouring around the block while he waters every county-owned strip of grass in protest. I'm running calculations in my head. I can't touch the lock. Too obvious, too easy to pin on me. But maintenance. The sign says maintenance, after all. And per section 4. 2 of the HOA bylaws. Yeah, I've got the app on my phone. Don't judge, Residents can make emergency repairs to common elements if there's a safety hazard. Well, those hinges are looking a little rusty to me. Wouldn't want a heavy iron gate to seize up and crush a toddler, now would we? Back at my garage, I size up my tools. Hammer, screwdrivers, drill. I need something beefier. I need Pete. I call him up. He answers over the noise of what sounds like a small war. Jack, you finally blew up the water heater again. Not today, man. Hypothetical for you. Got a big-ass iron gate. Hinges on the outside. Maybe welded, maybe not. How hard to pop them off? Pete laughs. Depends. If they're just capped, you need an angle grinder and a little nerve. 5 minutes if you know what you're doing. Or a trip to the ER if you don't. You planning a heist, Jack? Just community service, Pete. Can I borrow your Excalibur? Only if you bring whiskey. And you break anything, you bought it. Deal. Now, let me tell you, standing in Pete's shop is like stepping into a mad scientist's lair. The man treats tools the way some people treat antique swords. He hands me a DeWalt angle grinder, so heavy it could double as home defense. Plus gloves and a face shield that makes me look like an extra in a welding documentary. I drive back, heart pounding, sweating through my shirt, even with the AC blasting. I'm not subtle about it, either. I back my truck up to the park gate, tailgate down, tools spread out like a surgeon prepping for open-heart surgery. I plug the grinder into my truck's power outlet, because yes, I drive a truck with a generator. America. Linda's still in the window. I wave. She does not wave back. Blocks go under the gate for support, gloves on, face shield down. I hit the trigger, and the grinder screams to life. Sparks flying, metal hissing, the sound bouncing off every stucco wall for half a mile. Doors start opening. People come out in pajamas, coffee mugs in hand, looking around like there's a UFO landing. Dave's across the street, watching, bagel halfway to his mouth. First hinge goes, clunk. I pause, wipe my brow. The top bracket swings free. Linda comes storming out of her house, phone to her ear, robe flapping behind her like some villainous wizard. What do you think you're doing? Maintenance. I shout, cheerful as can be. Bylaw 4, 2. Safety hazard. She's calling the cops. I give her a thumbs up, face shield back down. Second hinge takes longer, but adrenaline's a hell of a thing. More sparks, more neighbors gawking, more of Linda's screeching echoing off the HOA-approved landscaping. Finally, the last pin drops. I back up, kick out the wooden blocks. For one glorious moment, the gate just hovers, then tips back, slow motion. 10 feet of wrought iron slamming down on the grass like the world's angriest domino. Padlock still perfectly intact, mind you. The actual barrier? Gone. I dust off my hands. Much better airflow, I say. Linda is apoplectic, words failing her. You vandal. The police are coming. You're going to prison. Officer Miller rolls up, a man who's seen it all and, frankly, couldn't care less. He gets out, surveys the scene, gate on the grass, angle grinder nearby, Linda shrieking, me smiling like a kid on Christmas. He checks the lock. Well, the lock's still good. Checks the hinges. Looks like you cut him. I give my best, just doing my civic duty speech. Miller actually looks like he's trying not to laugh. Ma'am, he says, this is a civil dispute. No damage to the lock. No theft. File a complaint if you want, but this isn't a police matter. Linda practically melts into a puddle of rage. Dave, meanwhile, shouts from his lawn. Looking good, Jack. Sirens fade. Miller tells me to clean up my mess, and as I load the hinges into my truck, I notice Linda snapping pictures, muttering about evidence. Whatever helps you sleep, Linda. But here's where the twist comes in. See, I'm not just going to toss those hinges. If I throw them away, I'm a vandal. If I keep them, I'm a thief. But if I sell them, with a receipt, I'm a responsible community member handling surplus assets. So off I go, straight to Sal's scrapyard, the sort of place that smells like burned dreams and motor oil. Sal weighs the hinges, gives me a whopping $12.40. Don't spend it all on lawyers, kid. And, crucially, an itemized receipt. Paper trail established. Back home, I see the gate still lying there, now surrounded by orange cones. No caution tape, that'd be tacky. 2 kids roll their bikes through the gap, not even blinking. Buster sprints straight through, finally free, peeing on every tree in sight, like he's claiming territory for all dog kind. Sarah's in the kitchen, chopping veggies with the kind of precision that says, I know what you did. She's heard the neighborhood gossip already. Terrorist attack with a power tool, huh? I prefer volunteer maintenance technician, I reply, grinning. She shakes her head, but there's a smile fighting its way to her lips. You're an idiot. A hero, but an idiot. That night, I email the entire HOA board, attaching a scan of Sal's greasy receipt, quoting the bylaws, explaining how I handled the emergency maintenance and deposited the $12.40 in the community Dropbox for new Hinges. Enjoy the grass, I write. Park's open. The replies start trickling in. Dave, not all heroes wear capes. Some wear safety goggles. Mrs. Higgins, can I let my dog run again? Even the quiet neighbors, the ones who never make eye contact, chime in, thank you, finally. And then, inevitably, Linda. Not an email, but a certified letter taped to my front door the next morning. Notice of violation. Unauthorized alteration. Fine, $500. I frame it, right next to Sal's receipt. 3 months pass. The board restructures. Linda's reign of terror is waning. Turns out, contractors don't want to touch that gate with a 10-foot pole. Not after hearing about the guy with the grinder. The gap stays. The park stays open. Eventually, they just cart the whole gate away, no replacement in sight. And every morning, I walk Buster right through the open space. Sometimes I see Linda watching from her window, binoculars forgotten, her fortress finally breached. I don't wave. I don't need to. The empty space between those pillars says it all. So was it worth it? $12.40 in scrap metal, a framed violation, one open park, and a community that finally remembered it belonged to the people. Not the padlocks. I'll let you be the judge. Tell me, what would you have done? Where's the line between order and overreach? Justice and just desserts? Drop your own stories or thoughts below. Maybe you tangled with an HOA. Maybe you've got a tale of petty bureaucracy toppled. I want to hear it. Who knows? Maybe your revolution starts with a dog